Hello, I'm here having a virtual cuppa today with Giorgio Repice, the owner, instructor at Giant Martial Arts. Giorgio is a martial arts practitioner with he practices and has been trained in Aikido. I'll read off my list: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Karate, Taekwondo, MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, Filipino martial arts, and numerous weapon systems. I think I've got them all there, Giorgio.
I think so, yeah. Oh, boxing. I got a boxing coach as well, yeah.
Boxing. So through Giant Martial Arts, Giorgio teaches Aikido, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and weapon systems. So, Giorgio, obviously we were chatting before, the reason for the virtual cuppa series is to get insights from people with different areas of expertise and insights into the COVID-19 situation and its impact on different people and different communities. How are you finding it? What's happening in your world around COVID?
So the martial arts industry, there's a variety of things that are going on. It's pretty sad for a few of the martial art owners out there. I've been witness to a few that have just closed shop, thrown in the towel. One full-time facility that I know of has thrown in the towel, and we saw their mats go up for sale on Facebook Marketplace, which is really, really sad thing to see. But the majority is more related to sort of like community centres, which is pretty much where, as an instructor or teacher, you start. Like that's where I started when I got my first black belt in 2008. Started teaching at the Marital PCYC. So you start at a community centre and then you sort of grow and build from there. So yeah, it's had a bit of a challenge there. What I've seen with the martial art gyms that are sort of powering through this period is ones that are just diversifying and jumping onto the new world. So getting into Zoom classes, communicating a lot with the students, keeping up your own training. Like as an instructor, I think it's helped motivate like everyone around you just by continuing to have your own training schedule as best you can, whether it's down at the park or with people in the house or with items around the house or whatever you can do just to keep up your training, post it online. We've got like private Facebook groups and WhatsApp chats to keep communication flowing, and people get motivated with it. They see you training, and that in turn you start to see new faces coming onto the Zoom classes week after week. And yeah, a lot of the martial art gyms that have sort of jumped onto that and continuing to power through that are still sort of going okay. But there's no one out there in the industry that's still got the same sort of membership that they had March. There's definitely been a drop. And which is expected. You can't expect when you've got the roof over your head and bills to pay and mouths to feed and you've lost your job. You can't be paying your gym fees and all that sort of stuff.
I suppose what are the main things that obviously has impacted the gym owners and martial art trainers and etc. But the actual people training your students, well, what's the sort of main things that they're coming back to you with? Obviously with, I suppose, financial difficulties and that side of things. What are the main sort of issues people are facing that you're finding?
Loss of job is the biggest thing. And with that and financial difficulties comes, you got to be down on yourself. It's hard to be motivated to do anything else. Your primary thing to do is send a link, jump on job sites, recruitment, look for a job. It's the first thing you got to do. But otherwise, morale is down.
Yeah. What are people who? I know from myself that the first probably the first month of isolation, my motivation plummeted. Probably in a beer consumption went like that. Right.
Even your hands. My hands had more alcohol than
Yeah.
my body, just for sanitizing and the new the new
Yeah.
habits we got.
What do you find in terms of like people's motivation? Are people as motivated still, or is there sort of trends you're seeing around people's motivation?
Look, personally, our gym, and Anthony and I had to really we got down and did some hard work in those first early weeks, and got in touch with every single member. Like literally rang them, spoke to them on the phone, and I think with just communication from day one, not just that, but emails, Facebook, WhatsApp messages, text messages. We've sort of, to this point, we've recovered about 60 to 70% of the membership. And that's because I must admit, we're blessed with a good community as well. There's a great bunch of people that we train with. And, so I think communication, like if you're there and talking and also showing people that we're doing things, we're still keeping the training up, we're not stopping, the schedule's still in place.
Yeah.
That's helping with the motivation.
All right, so I mean, you mentioned that community, right? And obviously, one of the things with martial arts, with gym, is people have different communities in their life. You have work, you have your family, you have your social life, and then you have sports and gyms and martial arts, etc. And obviously, we've all lost a lot of those different communities. I mean, how are you finding people, coming back now online? Is there still that sense of community? How you mentioned obviously Snapchat and Facebook and all those. Yeah. How are you sort of keeping those communities alive and keeping people connected?
It's online. It's just the new sort of norm. It's all being across the board on as many communication services as you can. So we're not on Snapchat, but we're on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Zoom. Zoom's been the biggest thing with live classes. And a thing that we've had to learn. Never really used Zoom prior to March this year, and live classes never really did that either. So we had to really jump on board, and just the first few weeks was learning for us as well as for everyone else.
Yeah.
But it was a great form of communication, because at the end of every class we give it 5 minutes just to sit and chat. Tell us what your week's been, how's it going, what have you been doing at home, how's schoolwork, and just having a chat with all the different age groups, whether they be the kindergarten kids or right through the adults, teenagers.
Yeah.
It's a sense of communication, through online that's helping.
And you're doing social as well, like social.
Yeah, we've had a few social nights in, and across the board, like we normally would have things like pizza nights for kids. We'd have teens day out down at the shopping centres, go watch a movie, or we would have adult socials, going out the city and having some fun. So that's all been replaced with Zoom parties, like with the relevant age groups jumping on, and there's fun games you can play. You can play like Pictionary and Taboo and stuff like that, and just have a laugh. So yeah, we've had the odd social event as well every week or second week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, different martial arts lend themselves to different, I suppose different martial arts would lend themselves to being online as well as some wouldn't. What are the main ones that just don't work online? And what are the ones that have been easiest to transition into?
Look, across the board, whether it's striking skills or whether it's wrestling and grappling skills, when you're learning combat and martial arts, number one is being able to do it with other people. Resisting, that's how you grow, it's how you get better at your skills. So that's just ultimate. So you've got that, and then you've got, possibly being back on the mat with social distancing. Then you've got Zoom, and then you've got nothing. So clearly doing it properly in its best form with other people, with resistant contact, is number one. That's better than distancing on the mat. Distancing on the mat is better than Zoom. Zoom is better than nothing. So I guess if you look at it that way, it's really affected all martial arts styles. But the martial arts styles that really rely on complete contact with everything they do are really affected, such as judo, wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, that sort of stuff. You can, to a point, do a lot of solo drills within those styles. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and we have been doing on our Zoom classes to keep those skills, keep the movement of your body flowing within those skills, but still, it's nowhere near the real thing, but it's better than nothing. Striking skills, you can do a lot more. You know, kicking, punching, because you can do a lot of that. Shadow boxing, you can hit mitts. Someone can hold mitts for you. Someone can hold kick shield. If you've got a bag at home, you have a lot more striking skills. So you can do a lot more with styles that have striking.
Yeah.
For example, karate, taekwondo, boxing, kickboxing. But styles that have a lot more of a grappling aspect, then yeah, they've really been challenged, and will be challenged, especially depending on when the social distancing rules are going to start to lift. You know.
Yeah, it's difficult to grapple at 1.5 meters apart, isn't it?
Definitely, and there's only so much you can. Like, you can still, yeah. What we encourage, we teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and to all those our BJJ students, we've recommended, look, during this time, pick up a different skill. Try kickboxing. Try, you know, we can break down your punches and your kicks, and work those skills, and pick up a weapon. We can learn some weapon skills. So learn something different while you're still moving, still doing martial arts, and then when it's all back and good, straight back to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, it's fine. But yeah, there's only so much you can get out of a grappling dummy, or, you know, out of your sibling or your partner at home that doesn't really do it.
Yeah, or your 8-year-old daughter in my case.
It's funny though, I've had some, because there's some of the where our students have been partnering with anyone from mum, dad, sibling, or even grandma. I had one grandma who got one of our teenagers in a headlock, and he struggled. You know, like, she really made him work for it. So I think some of the, you know, the online Zoom stuff is sort of working as an advantage, depending on how much resistance, you know, the people in your house put on you.
What, in terms of, I suppose, the sort of research you've been doing, and obviously you're very involved in sort of various sporting councils and martial art groups, and what's the research that you're seeing, or the information you can access to that you think would be relevant to people watching this?
Look, the industry definitely won't be beaten. You know, we can we'll overcome it. You know, and I think that there's a lot of motivated martial arts instructors out there that are just riding the wave and doing what we've got to do to communicate, get the training across in one form or another. And but what I think is going to, I think this will be the new norm going forward everywhere, is you know, more sanitizing. I mean, a lot of gyms are doing that already, but now probably more than ever, a little bit more important, sanitizing on the way in, during, and on the way out, and other things like temperature checking. You know, like we invested in a real decent temperature checker, so that people walking in, we're going to get temperatures checked. And I was looking into ones that sort of, you know, have a big alarm. So if you end up being over 38 degrees, bang, you can see everyone looks at you and points, get out, go home. We don't want that sort of stuff happening. But ultimately, it's going to move the industry towards a lot more cleanliness and hygiene, which is good. It's what it needs, you know. And going back to, you know, why community centers are really being impacted. See, if you've got a full-time facility, you can sort of move your timetable around so that you can have time in between classes to clean, do a few of those extras, clean before, clean after. Whereas a community center, depending on when you get your keys from whoever is controlling the center, whether it's a school or a community group, you might need an hour beforehand just to do the cleaning. And then normally a lot of community center programs run back to back, like with dancing or, you know, music other things all the way through. So you might not have that time, to put into the sanitization and the cleaning process. So that'll be a bit challenging, for those sort of clubs when they're going forward. But yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think sanitizing, cleaning.
But the industry as a whole is pretty stoic and kind of, we're not going to be beaten.
You've across the board. You're dealing with a lot of motivated people in martial arts. You're learning combat skills and you're motivated to get out there, get punched, kicked, and wrestled and choked and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it breeds some tough people. So they're we're not going to give in.
Yeah.
Got to keep working with it.
Well, obviously a lot of people that within our community on LinkedIn, Facebook will be business owners, people managers within corporates, that kind of thing. What how can they be using martial arts as an avenue to help them with their team? And people are looking for team mental well-being, physical well-being, financial well-being, all the sort of things that you think of as for your employees. Where's the place for martial arts in all of that?
Even from a passive point of view, martial arts is sort of, and I don't know, I guess I might be preaching to the converted. It's like a therapy, your meditation and breathing and stretching, and pretty much the philosophy of martial arts to just strive for the next level, be better than you were yesterday, continue to get better and stronger and healthier. All aspects around those philosophies there can definitely help the corporate workplace. And we work with, we do a lot of corporate workshops from time to time. And so the breathing aspect, just breathing, every martial arts style has importance on breathing. Even in the army combatives, really, really important how you breathe, how you regain composure. That's an important aspect. Conflict resolution, how to deal with aggressive people in whether they be clients, customers, or even your own acquaintances and staff buddies. You've got to be able to control and not fight fire with fire, and redirect a lot of that negative energy. You're sitting all day in your chair or on your laptop, stretching. Really, really important. Just moving and that sort of thing. So there's a lot that martial arts can offer.
I think as well, I've seen a lot of companies doing online yoga and PT sessions, and which are awesome and great programs.
Really good.
For me personally, it's not something that appeals. I think that the concept of online martial arts is more appealing because it's, I don't know, just for me, I don't know, yoga isn't something I've ever particularly been excited about. But
yeah, you get a lot of aggression out. When you're hitting a bag, hitting pads. It's not that we're, sort of condoning violence. Aggression is coming out, and at the same time, you're learning skills. Should the time ever arise when you're being attacked and you need to protect yourself, you're learning skills at the same time. So, and when we speak of meditation, people think, you sit there, cross your legs up in a mountain with a waterfall in the background. It's not necessarily the case. I consider like live wrestling and live sparring meditation, because you're focused on the task at hand. You really can't think of anything else. You're there and you've got a resisting opponent, and it's safe. You've got the skills to be in that scenario. And you can't think of it. You can't be thinking of problems with grandma and issues at work and when you're sparring or wrestling. So it's really just it's great to focus the mind. It's great to and for exercise therapy and everything else. So it's a bit more, to me, it's more exciting than going for a run, going for a swim, or doing that stuff. We do a little bit of all that, warm-ups. It all helps. If you're a good runner, it'll help you in fitness. And if you love your stretching, It'll help your flexibility. That all helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, martial arts itself has a lot of good benefits there.
What do you the other side of this coming out of COVID-19? Obviously, we've talked about different stages we go through, and you mentioned there, going back, having 10 people in the gym, social distancing, and then gradually going back to some version of normal. But in terms of like as a society or sort of martial arts or sports as a whole, what do you see the other side of this looking like? What are the big changes you think will be the post-COVID world to the pre-COVID world? What are the main differences? That's a big question, but
yeah, of course. Look, I guess I was around when September 11 happened, and see after that, not to say that we're in a war or anything, but after that, you saw a few security measures enhanced at airports. I think it's going to be the same coming out of this. It's had such a dramatic impact that sanitizing is going to be the norm.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, and yeah, like I mentioned earlier, checking temperatures. If I'd hate to think that every time someone sneezed, they're going to be stared at, like it's just a bit.
Well, bit for a while, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I really want to get rid of that, and get back to being human beings, looking out and caring for one another. But I guess the other thing is with different martial arts, because they're from the different areas of the world, there's different ways to greet, from bowing, where there's no contact, to some martial arts shake hands, some martial arts fist bump. There's different ways to greet in different styles, as per the different cultures and styles. So
yeah,
that may change. I personally love the fist bump. I sort of fist bump everyone. You've probably noticed that in and out of the gym, during class. Probably prefer fist bump instead of shake hands. To me, it just feels like it's less of a surface, and it's still good enough to have that contact. Contact's so important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that may have an impact on certain styles going forward in the martial arts industry.
I think as well that people, I've noticed where people who wouldn't normally talk about exercising or, I think people have become more aware now from being isolated that if you bit down in the dumps, you go out for a walk, or you go and you do something physical, get out in the sunshine, and it's just a
take a big
thing.
fresh breath here.
Yeah, sometimes I'm having a bad day, no one's answering the calls, or I've made 10 phone sales calls and everyone's told me to get lost. Well, go for a walk. It's kind of like a go-to. I think that coming out of this, obviously there are people like yourself, athletes, who know that's what you do, but for those non-athletic amongst us, I've realised that that's a good way of getting yourself out of that mood. I think that's going to become more common.
Breathe. And this was reiterated by Sergeant Paul Cale, as we've been studying Army combatives through the kinetic fighting system, and even he confirmed the same breathing that they do in the Army. You're at war, and you've ducked, and you've got a gunshot that just come past your head. You're like, oh, I know I can't swear on this show. So basically at that point, it's your breathing. It's 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, and do that 4 times. So it's an easy number to remember. 4 in, hold for 4, out for 4, repeat 4 times. Yeah. And by the end of that, or even could be even before, could be after your second cycle, you're sort of back and you're feeling better. Just deep breaths. Sometimes you might not have the time to get up and go for a walk. You've got another 10 phone calls to make, and now you're feeling down in the dumps, and you got to say, take a breather. Big deep breath makes a big difference. If it's taught to people that are going to war in the Army to just breathe, to compose yourself, it's going to work and help you, in your job. And then when you've been just really stressed out by someone and you've got to go into another room just to let the anger out, just breathe. So important. It works.
Yeah. I mean, as a business owner, I mean, you're also director in a building management company as well, in
Yeah.
the real estate industry for years. You know, you own and run a very successful martial arts school with over 370 students in Sydney's inner west. What are the main tips you give to business owners now who are facing, you know, if you had to say the top 3 things that you think have got you to this point through this crisis, where you're pretty hopeful you're going to make it through?
Just 3?
Top 3, yeah.
Easier said than done, but you just got to treat every day like you would a normal scheduled day. Have an alarm getting you up if you need to, right? And fit in your exercise, fit in your work, fit in your family time, fit in your meditation. When I say meditation, that's probably across the board of if you're religious, prayer, yeah, just meditation, being quiet, alone, breathing, relaxing, just time to yourself, idle time even.
Yeah.
That could even be, you know, for some people, playing some video games, you know, just zoning out, or watching a good movie, or, you know, so time to yourself. And of course, eating the right nourishment, you know, putting the right things into your body. So if those, sorry, you said 3, but 5, those 5 things a day, keeping those into a good schedule, it sort of will keep your mind in the right spot, you know, and that'll help you get easily motivated. If say you're spending all day doing the video games and the Netflix and the YouTube, and so one of those 5 things is out of proportion, then harder probably to get motivated the next day. Or say you've drunk too much, you know, by choice, the next day harder to get up, harder to get motivated, harder to get back into it.
Yeah.
Like my wife and I, we have a so we run with the schedule, you know. Monday to Saturday is a full solid schedule. Sunday's relaxation. Saturday night, Sunday, you know, have a few drinks and party and friends and family time, and, you know, and really relax. And then Monday, bang, kick into it again.
Yeah.
So try to maintain some sort of schedule as best you can. You know?
Yeah, I think that I suppose that the word that has come out from our conversation during this and when we chat on the phone before was community as well. And I think that one of the amazing things of martial arts is community. I mean, how's your community supported you?
Blessed. I mean, I can't, you know, it's just this week during our Zoom classes, we had a dad drop in, and he said, look, I can't stay for long. I'm just, you know, dropping in a bag, and I've got to take off, you know. So when we went to look what was inside the bag, I think he owns a cleaning company, and he dropped off an entire bag full of sanitizer. You know, we've got liters and liters of the stuff. We've just been touched and blessed. It's been awesome. You know, and our Zoom classes, really, they're not all charged for everybody. A lot of students are on the Zoom classes that can't pay. Parents have lost jobs, and it's fine. You know, we just want the community training. So just jump on, stick with the schedule, stick with your training, no problem. And even in saying that, you know, certain parents that, you know, couldn't really afford it a month ago, things changed for them financially, and they've rung us up and said, look, we see the value that you guys are putting in. Thank you so much. You know, do you mind, you know, we'll reinstate X amount as a debit, you know, just to help keep you going. It's brilliant. You know, community is the key word, and it's,
yeah.
And it's brought out the best in people, you know, like it's beautiful what it's done.
Yeah, it's some nice stuff. Okay, I think it's worth noting that the behind you is not a Zoom artificial background. It's actually a real background.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's one of my little pride and joys, my tank. I love my tank.
The last thing I want to talk about is so someone watching this who's been thinking about starting martial arts specifically. Obviously thinking now's not a good time. What would you say to that person now?
Try it. You know, look, it's very different to what if you're brand new to martial arts. I'd use this time to do a bit of research. Look at a good local school that you know, and do a bit of research on the style they teach, and see if the techniques within that style are something that would suit you, whether you like to punch or kick, or whether you like to wrestle, or whether you like to throw, whether you like to do weapons, whatever it may be. Do some research, and you know, if they're offering it, jump on. Most of, like we are, we're trialing one week for free on the Zoom lessons. Just come give it a go, you know, and even thereafter, until we get back on deck, we don't really expect, you know, people to pay. So just research, try it online. Then you get a feel for the instructor. You get to see all the other students that are training on like the multiple screen. But nothing will beat being on the mat. So you really got to prepare yourself for that. And once you're on the mat, you'll get the full experience and feel what it's all about. But in the meantime, just do those couple of things, you know, research it. Have a look at videos. There's plenty of stuff out there on YouTube.
Yeah, give it a go.
Science, yeah.
All right, brilliant.
One look back.
It's nice. So, all good to hear you're doing well. And thanks a lot, Giorgio. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having a virtual cuppa.
Appreciate it, Simon. Thanks for the invite. Take care. See ya.